one thing I admire about both my parents is that they're both really confident in their own ways. For my dad, he's more confident in being funny, he wants to be the cool dad, but my mom, she's confident because with whatever decisions she makes, she doesn't really doubt herself that much. She's confident in what she decides to do.
I love that my mom is a very strong person. She's very calm in the midst of like any kind of trials and tribulations, and in my family we've been through a lot, and she's really strong. And my dad, he is a home dad. I admire that as a man he can do housework and he can do marketing even much better than my mom, truthfully.
Go to theme parks.
I would say going to travel, like last year when we went to Gold Coast.
Play chess.
Probably watching movies, man. My whole family is like a movie thing.
Not really like a favorite thing, but one thing that is very enjoyable to do with them is like every Chinese New Year we will go and play cards, and it would be very fun.
Well, we agree on most things. I would say the only thing we couldn't agree on is sometimes choosing what to eat for dinner.
Oh yeah, I can't agree on how to pronounce words with my mom. She always pronounces words way differently from how they're supposed to be pronounced. So she will say like a weird word and I'll say that's not how you pronounce it, and we will argue for like an hour about it.
There's so many things. Okay, wait. It's probably like when my mom tells me I did something wrong and I try to justify it, and then like she always tells me that I'm talking back to her, but then I'm not. And then after that, me justifying that I'm not, I actually start talking back to her.
They always recall jokes that happened when I was my younger stupid self. For example, in Rangers when my dad was there and Pastor Mike was there as well. My Pastor Mike asked me what petrol I am in, and I remember one time I was so confused, so I said Petronas, right? The petrol station, and my dad was just laughing at the side, and Pastor Mike was like, that's not the petrol I'm referring to, it's your group petrol. It's like, oh okay, and we still laugh about that until today.
Tickle me. My father, when he fart,
When they do nonsense, like our dad always like randomly dances or something, and their personalities are just like naturally kind of funny. So yeah.
Well, I don't really know, but according to their exam papers, I would say they are very smart kids.
Oh, when my mom was young, she always described herself as being very sporty and outgoing, so I would think that she's very tomboyish. Not so much like me, but she's quite adventurous, so I see her being like the silly type also. And I can see my dad just being the typical Chinese boy in the uniform and everything, and making the teacher like scold him. But I think my dad was quite a good boy lah. I hope he was.
My dad was probably a rascal, like me. I think like so, I got it from him. My mom probably like a kampung version of Tarzan. I think she grew up around animals. Then she always chopped wood. Like she tells me she chopped wood, so I'm imagining her to be like very buff, very muscular.
I think they were very good last time when they were young. They go exercise every day and read books. But my daddy won't read books lah. I think he will just do his homework or anything lah. So I think they were a good young child lah.
My mom, it's a very homely girl. They don't come from a privileged background, so my mom is more of the studious. She's a reader. My dad, on the other hand, is the typical kampong boy who goes crazy, with his brothers. He's got a lot of brothers and he's got a lot of sisters, so they play a lot, they play pranks a lot. So that's what they told me, and that's how I imagine them to be, and how I still have that sort of thought about them. Yeah.
If I had a lot of money, I would bring my dad to Niagara Falls because he always talks about it. Whenever we go for whatever vacation, he'll be like, if I had a chance, I would bring you all to Niagara Falls because he really likes it, I guess, and he likes waterfalls.
For my dad, I will use my money and buy something special for them because they are so special to us. And my mother, I will use my money and buy whatever she wanted.
I've always thought about it that when I have a lot of money, I want to take them out on holiday, get them a big house. While they can still walk, actually, especially while they can still walk, I want them to travel, and I would love to bring them on holidays. Overseas, actually.
I would like buy a theme park,
Buy a theme park.
own a theme park,
Okay.
then send them to them for free.
We can bring them go holiday because they always say when we grow up we have to bring them to go holiday. so Like one child, one holiday like that.
For my dad, when I was young and before we had a car, the bicycle, my dad used to go to work on bicycle. So they had this rattan chair. In those days, the rattan chair, and he just put it on the handlebar of the bicycle and he'll sit me on it and send me to school. And that was great. For my mom, during school holidays, she'll play this game called Lotto. I think today they call it bingo. And she'll play with all of us, and we are allowed to use money during that time.
Well, growing up, one memory I can remember, maybe it's not a fond memory, but I think we used to make kites. Me and my dad used to make kites from like garbage bag or whatever lah, a plastic bag, then we just made with like sticks and everything. Then we would go and fly it outside of our house. But then and I used to wear skirts, even though I didn't like to wear skirts, but I would wear like something short. And my dad would say, don't run, okay? Don't run after the kite. And I'll be like, sure. And I would run after the kite and I would scrape my knees all the time.
Probably my dad tucking me into bed. Like we used to have Friday nights. My dad would get the projector and we'll all be in my parents' room and then he'll put a movie on and we'll all be there together. And my dad used to do this thing to me and my siblings where when he was tucking us in, he called it the roti canai. He'll start to like massage us and then he'll tuck us into bed. I think that was my favorite thing growing up with them.
When I was growing up, my parents actually would take me to the Shalam Lake, and I really had fun having picnics. They would take me on picnics almost every weekend, and that was like the best memory I've ever had. Spending time with them and them spending time with us, taking us out to places and seeing things, the lake, the library, that's like the best memory I've had of them.